Electrocast.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Hey Iris, why is everyone in the world of Dracula at each other's throats?
The lost version of Bram Stoker's novel has been unearthed, and everyone is trying to bring its author to light.
The stakes have never been higher. But who wrote it? Bram Stoker?
I'm gonna find out. Count on it.
The Powers of Darkness podcast from Or Whatever Movies.
Wherever you get podcasts, October 2025.
I know what you are.
Say it.
Vampire.
Nosferatu. These creatures do not die, but instead grow strong, feeding on the blood of the living.
Border waiters, try to hide. They're coming.
Welcome to Vampire Month with Wesley and Iris.
It's Vampire Month.
Vampire
Here
Month.
at Or Whatever Movies. Vampire Month, the month of September 2025 is Vampire Month. I'm your co-host, Iris, and I'm here with my older brother,
Michael.
I remembered it. I have so many questions for Lost Boys. Like, I know its ticks and its beats. I know its soundtrack. It's like in my soul, but I know nothing about this movie.
Don't we usually do vampire stuff October?
Let's just be honest, Wes. Typically, October is like your curated horror month.
Favorite time of year.
So this is a little bit different. This was Iris prompted, and it's vampire dedicated.
All right. How many times does someone or other say, Michael?
It's usually Kiefer Sutherland and probably at least a couple dozen.
Try 114 times.
114. Is there some significance to that? If you divide it by six times, is it like 666?
I don't think so. And I don't know because I didn't do this official count. Do they include the echoes?
Count. You didn't do the count.
Oh man. Nope.
Did they do? Of course you do the echoes. That would count as a Michael.
Yeah. This is not your parents' vampire movie. Although, given that it's nearly 40 years old, it's definitely some parents' vampire movies.
Why do I know Jason Patrick?
The son of legendary Jason Miller, playwright and actor, of Exorcist fame, Father Karras.
So he got his first name but not his last name?
That's kind of weird. But we're trying to avoid nepotism, not Kiefer Sutherland. But Jason Patrick is your boy. Remember he did that crazy horse stunt in Geronimo, an American Legend?
Oh, right. From Wesley Month.
Yeah.
When we covered Geronimo, an American Legend, available at orwhatevermovies.com or wherever you get podcasts. Was that actually him who did it, though?
Uh-huh.
And we're talking about the stunt where the horse lies down. He hides on the horse, and then he and the horse get up simultaneously.
With a rifle in his hand and the reins in the other hand.
Yeah, that was bonkers.
And I don't think he had ridden a horse before that. I think it was all part of his training or whatever. Because as Kiefer Sutherland will tell you, Jason Patrick was a very serious actor. He considered himself a student of the craft and was very serious and not at all playful. And I think that hurt him a little bit. When he's super dour and super serious and unapproachable, he may have been like the Kobe Bryant of actors of his time.
Do you think he was just fighting against his good looks? Like he wanted to double down on being serious?
In a Leonardo DiCaprio kind of way, I suppose. He reminds me of Johnny Depp in some ways. And then he took over for Keanu in your favorite movie, Speed 2 Cruise Control. The problem is, aside from The Lost Boys, he never really had a role that took off. He didn't really find his place. He tried the drug role in Rush with Jennifer Jason Leigh and stuff, and then didn't really find his place. So he's kind of Michael from The Lost Boys and maybe Speed 2 Cruise Control.
He's kind of got a Fassbender vibe, and I just couldn't shake that. Is Diane Wiest not an 80s, 90s Michelle Williams?
Well, is it because of the hair?
Well, definitely that's part of it. That little pixie cut is very Michelle Williams. But no, just the sweetness and the innocence and the inner strength, the overall and general likability and kind of sadness.
So Michelle Williams feels like a kid to me. And I think she's a good actress. But when she played Steven Spielberg's mom in The Fabelmans, I was like, she seems a little bit too young. Diane Wiest always seemed older to me. She's played the mom role in everything I've seen her in Practical Magic, in The Lost Boys, in Dan in Real Life. And yes, she has that sweet, magical quality even. But she's always seemed a little bit older. But she is Brad Pitt's favorite actress. Brad Pitt said that Diane Wiest, of all people, is the most beautiful actress ever to appear on screen.
Aww.
And yeah, she's very sweet. And yeah, that's hot.
Well, I mean, Max sure seems to think so.
Yeah, she's very mom. Max is very old guy dad or whatever. I think you're going to have a tough time with this movie because I'm having a tough time with this movie.
Really? How so?
You're older than mom.
Oh, stop.
You're older than Max.
Stop.
I hate to tell you, you are twice as old as every one of the vampires.
You are absolutely obsessed.
Twice as old as all the vampires who were super adult when I was a kid. Do you know that I'm nearly 5 times as old as Laddie?
You even did the Laddie calculation?
Yep.
Wes.
Nearly 5 times.
Get over yourself. You're almost 50.
Right. You don't think Max is super old looking? And when he's like, I still want you, Lucy, and he sticks his tongue out between his fangs.
Ew.
And you're not like, oh, that old dude should not be doing that.
I was channeling all kinds of weird vibes from The Lost Boys. Is he not the spitting image, character-wise, of the dude from the first Mission Impossible and the last Mission Impossible?
The first and last. Henry Czerny, who played Kittredge?
No, I'm talking about the dude in the vault who makes his triumphant return.
Oh, I guess. I mean, that guy was much more doofus, hapless, furrowed brows, kind of manning a radio tower in Alaska kind of vibe.
I think it's just like the kind of sweet oaf big dude, glasses looking thing.
I don't know, dude. Max seems so old. That dude's like 40 in this movie.
Stop.
It was
He's not
crazy.
Okay, we get it. How old was Star?
She was maybe 20, 21 at the most.
Man, epitome of 80s beauty, right?
Yeah.
What did Jamie Gertz go on to do?
Twister, dude. I mean, she did TV, she did a number of movies, but most notably, Bill Paxton's other girl in Twister.
Oh, his fiance.
I gotta go. We got cows.
That was an impossible situation for the fiance in
Yeah,
Twister.
it was very unfortunate because she was nice. She wasn't mean. She tagged along or whatever. She just couldn't handle it because Bill Paxton was crazy. And they got out in the thick of things, and she was crying and freaking out like any one of us would have done. Just unfortunate situation because, like the Lost Boys, if you hook up with crazy people, then you're kind of along for their wild ride.
Michael is a little bit to blame for the Lost Boys.
He's a kid. He's an idiot.
He's not a victim. He's an idiot. He's kind of an idiot. He and Kiefer Sutherland have the weirdest relationship. She tells him it's blood, and afterwards he still doesn't believe that it was blood. And he says it to her like it's a revelation, like, it was blood. And she was like, duh, I told you, dude. And then she wants to kill him, and he's like, praying mantis style. And he's like, yeah, we can do it first. It's cool. This whole movie has a weird relationship to other movies and movie universes. It's like a weird clashing universe between like Goonies and Stand By Me and Lost Boys. It's so weird.
And you're saying that why?
Well, this is a Richard Donner Presents production who directed Goonies, and Corey Feldman is a big part of that. But then there's the Stand By Me connection where Corey Feldman and Kiefer Sutherland are basically playing the same roles. And then, well, I guess it's really just the Corey Feldman connection because he's also in Goonies. And
Teddy is kind of a frog brother looking dude who definitely you'd think not too long later he would put on the bandana.
Yes.
Oh, it's so bizarre.
And what is with the voice?
Oh, so Joel Schumacher wanted Edgar to be like a tough guy. And he went to Corey Feldman and said, watch Rambo and First Blood. I want that to be your inspiration for the character. So, man, that little kid is putting it on. It's kind of comical. And when you think that returning for Lost Boys The Tribe, Part 2, and Lost Boys The Thirst, both direct-to-video sequels starring only Corey Feldman, he maintains that super tough guy thing, and he's still got that headband that can only fly in the 80s.
Like Rambo style. Does he have the voice?
Yeah. Corey Feldman's voice is deep now, and it's not as deep as Edgar Frog in The Lost Boys. It's very strange, man. But man, equally as strange, what a run for that kid. The Goonies 85, Stand By Me 86, Lost Boys 87. Like we're seeing that kid hit puberty, and that's a massive run.
Well, was it? Were they big movies?
Oh, yeah. Well, The Lost Boys wasn't as big a hit. It really found its footing in VHS and became kind of a cult classic. It wasn't a runaway, but it's definitely highly regarded. Lost Boys has a seriously dedicated fan base. The only thing that's kind of alienating for the masses is the fact that it's a pretty hard R. No nudity or whatever, but pretty graphic and gory and maybe a little bit too much for some people.
It's a little intense, especially when contrasted with the humor that's injected into it. It doesn't feel inconsistent tonally because they're kids.
Is it humor as an adult being like, what are you doing? Or like scoffing at the fashion or Marco's half tea or the sparkly blood?
Half tea. Who's Marco?
Marco is Bill from Bill and Ted. And he's wearing his cropped t-shirt. And he's all like, good night, Michael, in his little fingerless gloves and jumps off the bridge in his like patchwork jacket and his mullet.
That's right. The fashion is definitely, it's an 80s statement, but Corey Haim owns it. And he's also just a kid. And so I think I attribute any of the weird tonal inconsistencies or the humor to Corey Haim just being a kid.
I mean, singing in the bathtub with soap on his hair and stuff.
Right. The whole concept of go and take your bath is kind of bizarre for a child that age. But yeah, he's living it up in his own dream world, Home Alone style, and singing and like the bubbles are flying and stuff.
Yeah.
But he also is he's kind of goofy throughout. So it's okay. It works.
Costume designer asked all the principals who are, 19 years old to choose their own costumes. I want your individual styles. And of course, those were hugely embellished and they were meant to be ornate and very rock star for the time, but they got to choose their style. So Kiefer Sutherland chose the black vest and the black overcoat.
It's a little bit Young Guns.
The duster kind of vibe, the overcoat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the Marco, because I was on to Marco, and Marco's definitely not Young Guns. He looked like a kaleidoscope. He was like that jacket, I guess, he kept, and it fell apart. It rotted because it was all like patches and quilts and junk.
So they just got like a kaleidoscope of 80s fashion, put it on the rack and said, have fun?
Well, they had lots and lots of outfits and they mixed and matched and they sewed stuff together. Laddie's coat was like an actual 100-plus-year-old, like an early turn of the century hotel bellman coat. And I don't know why that like fits a little tiny kid, but that was apparently like an authentic jacket. It wasn't a recreation.
I don't know why Laddie's efforts are the sound that stick out to me most, that transport me most when I watch The Lost Boys. When what's her face is when Star is holding him back and he's trying to attack them.
He's just a little boy, and the attack of Eddie Munster, who's a werewolf, by the way, not a vampire.
It was so that's his grunts and efforts. I was like, oh my God, this is my childhood. You mentioned a rock star vibe. Who on earth was that rock star?
Oh, come on.
The oiled up chain necklace wearing rock star. Who was that?
Oh, that's that guy's famous. I just had his name. I can't remember his name offhand.
Timmy Capello.
Timmy Capello. He is a legitimate rock star. He plays that saxophone for real. To this day, he'll show up at conventions and stuff, still shirtless, super old, as ripped as an old guy can be. I think he's given up on the oil. But he was Tina Turner's legitimate saxophonist on stage. And he does that hip gyration thing and plays his saxophone and rubs all up on Tina Turner and stuff.
What?
But an actual saxophonist. And I wonder if he, in every performance, who brought the trash cans full of fire? That's like a fire hazard. The Santa Carla boardwalk is all wood.
I don't remember them on the boardwalk. They were all up in the vampire lair, though.
The Dipper, Big Dipper, or whatever, the roller coaster, the carousel, that's all on the Santa Cruz boardwalk.
And they were burning trash cans there?
Yeah, the performance. Tim Capello's performance on stage was on the boardwalk.
Yeah, that was just concert pyro.
Do you think that Tim Capello, the sax man, all oiled up and doing hip thrusts, had a Jordan Peele doppelganger 30 feet below him?
A la us? Why do you ask?
Just because it's the exact same place. And if we all have underground doppelgangers, I wonder if there's an underground Tim Capello playing an air sax underneath him.
This school year, let the Walmart app ace your kid's favorite subject, snack time. With Nature Valley Crunchy Granola and Danimals smoothies they'll actually wake up for. Craft Lunchables for a truly refined cafeteria palate, or Gatorade for when they take Capture the Flag a bit too seriously. Get all their on-the-go cravings delivered right to your door, just in time for that opening bell. New school year, all the snacks. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Is he oiled?
He was definitely oiled. I don't know about the doppelganger.
I think that he serves to set this very hypersexualized mood between Jason Patric and Star, because that's love at first sight, 80s style.
The whole movie is a pretty horny movie for not really having sex. I mean, he and Star make out in the cave or whatever, and that's kind of it. But the whole thing is about dumb teenage lust, whether it be between Michael and Star or Michael and David or any of the dudes.
Huh, interesting.
They're all driven by this crazy passion and this bloodlust passing as sex or whatever.
Is this why The Lost Boys, which was, I heard, supposed to be like a Peter Pan type story, became this hard R, gnarly movie from my childhood? Did Joel Schumacher super inject this with a sensibility that took it from being like a kid's movie into a young adult movie?
Yes, definitively. He wanted them to be teenagers and super horny or whatever, because it was originally going to be Richard Donner, The Goonies with vampires. And he had just done The Goonies. And so he's like, I don't know if I want to do The Goonies again, but like a vampire version. So Joel Schumacher stepped in and Richard Donner stayed on as producers, but it became very different. They were going to be between 10 and 13.
It says it all in the title, The Lost Boys. an obvious Peter Pan allusion.
Yes.
Right?
But it's also an eternal youth. It's fun to be a vampire kind of idea.
I see. Okay.
And also they're lost because they're idiots from an adult perspective. All the color and life that comes from being young and passionate and in love and dangerous, reckless, feeling like you're immortal, feeling like you're going to live forever, that allows them to enjoy this vampire lifestyle is transient, is just trying to figure out what you can get away with, who you are, who you want to bone. And it all goes away once you reach, hopefully, mid-20s. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. But they're just dumb and they're eternally teenagers.
Why doesn't that seem to be the case anymore?
I don't think kids are growing up at the same rate. Another famous vampire, Louis de Pointe-de-Lac, in Interview with the Vampire, says times were different. I was a man at that age, the owner of a large plantation at 24 years old. Nobody's like that anymore.
Is this just part and parcel with your obsession with age?
Maybe. Vampires are timeless, and Lost Boys is maybe one of the first ones where it was all about vampires celebrating eternal youth. I mean, don't quote me on that. But this is a very specific youth culture movie. The music, the fashion, the beach life, the lust, the idiot hormones, this burning need that Michael has for acceptance, even though he doesn't know it. It makes it embraced, I think, and relevant to a specific demographic that makes it the cult classic that it is. And I think is what makes it stand out for vampire movies.
So at 15, were you the demographic?
The Lost Boys didn't really resonate with me as a teenager because I was never going to be that cool. Like, I wouldn't even try to keep up with David on his bike, or to chase Star to the ends of the earth, or, hang out in the cave or whatever. No one was going to buy me Chinese food, whether they be maggots or worms or rice or whatever. If you have some of the pieces in place to join the cool kids club, then you follow along and hope to be embraced and indoctrinated into the cool kids club. In this case, it was vampires, but I was never even close. I have no memory of seeing The Lost Boys in the theater or my first time on video or whatever. It wasn't a huge deal. I view it with a real fascination as an adult because it's so specifically a time and place movie for youth culture and for vampire movies. And it's a little bit unrelenting. It's so crazy and dark, and as much as it can be comical, it's also gory, and the vampires are scary. It's a strange movie that wasn't in my regular rotation.
If I could sum up the experience of watching The Lost Boys, I was like, well, that was sure it's its own thing. That's for sure. It doesn't feel modern or contemporary, but it holds up. It still works today in its context of the 80s. Do you think that, like some of the featured reviews on IMDb, that it gets better with every viewing?
I don't know about that.
Or is this just a fan thing?
I think it's a fan thing. I think it hugely connected with people on a very personal level at the time. It's kind of the opposite for me. Watching it critically, I didn't have any really new revelations. I noted its place more and how influential it was on youthful vampire movies or pop culture vampire movies this time around.
How so?
The vampires as kids, be young and live forever and enjoy your youth and be wild forever. I struggle to think of what the other of a different definitive young vampire movie. Twilight, I guess, is teenage vampires, a little bit less wild. Buffy the Vampire Slayer in particular, Joss Whedon said that Lost Boys was hugely influential. The character of Spike is very much a Kiefer Sutherland white-haired vampire, also a little bit of Billy Idol thrown in there, Kiefer Sutherland said. But this vampire, when they vamp out, they have this monstrous thing, these prosthetics on their face that frame their eyes, this supraorbital crest sticking out over their eyes and these bony features on their cheekbones. That's taken directly from the Lost Boys.
When they become vampires, they transform in Buffy.
Right. They get monstrous looking and their facial features change. This movie doesn't feel effects heavy. When they're flying, they're on wires, they have harnesses. There's not a lot of special effects, which is why I think it holds up. It was prosthetics and practical makeup and effects and stuff. And I think the rest would look silly.
The flying sequences were pretty effective. We never knew who it was, or like hands and things didn't come into the frame, but it was very menacing.
Oh yeah, the flying and taking out the security guard and ripping the top off the convertible.
Even the run down the path to the house was very suspenseful. Michael, They're coming!
Oh man, gives me chills.
How come the young vampires, how come they don't have to be invited in?
Maybe it's invite the leader and the crew comes along for the ride. Maybe they get blanket rights, admittance.
Well, it seems like the head vampire certainly plays by different rules.
Yeah, I took this viewing to realize that it's not just inviting someone in, but you lose your power, all your power. The mirrors, the garlic, the holy water, for Max at least, who was directly invited in. And while David and crew weren't invited in, they all were subject to the holy water and stuff.
Huh. Okay. So how long did Grandpa know? Was Grandpa hip to them from like day one?
Specifically Max?
Well, that it was Max, or that, that Michael was being transformed. Obviously, he knew that Santa Carla was ridden with vampires.
I think it was a little bit of a trick that they played, where it's convenient. It's the grandpa ex machina or whatever at the end, where suddenly he knows and suddenly he's resourceful and sends all the wooden stakes that he meticulously set up around his compound into the house, flying through the air, and nobody got killed except for Max, with his entire family inside. It was just convenient that he came to the rescue when he did. But there is a fan theory that Grandpa is also half vampire, that he never completed his kill, but that he knew, that he was aware, was keenly tracking everything that was going on, and that he was cured maybe when he killed Max. They suggested that the root beer was actually blood. Keep out. Don't, old fart. Don't go into Grandpa's stuff. He wore his sunglasses inside like Michael did. He did all the taxidermy, and it was theorized that he got bitten or drank the blood or whatever, never completed his first kill, but survived as a vampire with blood in root beer bottles taken from the animals that he taxidermied.
Wow, that's a pretty intact theory.
Pretty good, right? When did he know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't really make sense that he would rescue them at the end when he let so much else go wrong. He couldn't have, when Lucy almost dies, when she goes to apologize to Max, he wasn't around for that, and he could have warned them, could have helped them, could have saved them. But he was just quirky, fun grandpa up until he needed to be the stake-flying madman savior.
I mean, honestly, he could have been doing anything when he trucked out with his horn and stuff. We don't know that he was seeing Widow so-and-so and such and such.
Widow Johnson.
He could have been up to any vampire shenanigans.
Absolutely. He did what he had to do to save his family, but he's awfully aloof prior to that.
He is. But that's because he was cool grandpa, and that's because in the 80s, parents had little to no oversight of their children.
Don't I know it? I think I was watching The Lost Boys at 10 years old. Do you know that Laddie, the actual actor, is only less than 2 weeks older than I am?
Aw, and Laddie was just a little kid to be protected. Who was protecting you, Wes?
Nobody. I was watching The Lost Boys and Eddie Murphy Raw and all manner of crazy things.
Yeah, that was the best.
All right. Who of all the stars, because this is not quite a Brat Pack cast, they didn't all go on to fame and fortune, but there are a number of notables here who made appearances in lots and lots of other movies. Who is the most successful star of The Lost Boys?
Kiefer Sutherland.
Nope. Kiefer Sutherland had a long and varied career, doesn't have a fraction of the net worth of another one of the Lost Boys stars.
Well, not Corey Feldman.
Unfortunately not. He's trying, though.
Was it acting fortune?
Well, this person is still acting, but parlayed some of the stuff from acting into fortune.
Who?
Jamie Gertz, a.k.a. Star, with a net worth of around $3 billion.
Whoa.
She and her husband are part of an investment group, and they co-own the Atlanta Hawks, the NBA team.
What?
Yep.
Anthony Wrestler? Good on you, Jamie Gertz. That's pretty solid.
Yep. Vampire Month. How does this one factor in to your intense study of vampires and vampire culture and vampire movies?
I didn't think about that at all.
You know, strangely, what's most noteworthy to me, this is the first weird teeth vampire movie, where it's not the canines or the cuspids, but the lateral incisors, the second teeth, are the fangs, which I always noticed about this movie.
Huh. Well, that's more because it's more centered and more like cinematic.
More prominently visible when they open their mouths or speak.
Yeah.
I think that David is an iconic vampire and would be one of the coolest, most iconic vampires, except for eternity. He's stuck with that terrible haircut. Imagine his misfortune at being an immortal vampire stuck with a mullet.
All of those haircuts were epic.
You know that Kiefer Sutherland has said that he took his kid to Chuck E. Cheese and people cleared out because they were scared of him or they hated him. After The Lost Boys and after Stand By Me and some of the horrible roles he's played, people will meet him and then be afraid to shake his hand.
Wow.
So if you're going to be Corey Feldman or whatever, and if you're going to be these personas, how do you not know? You can't assume that actors are their performances, are their roles. I think I said before that what is the quintessential cult classic movie? I think I gave that label to something else, but Lost Boys is definitely in the conversation.
Yeah, but perhaps there is a reason why I haven't revisited The Lost Boys in all of these years, except for Vampire Month here at Or Whatever Movies. What movies do we have in Vampire Month, Wes?
We have Sinners, Ryan Coogler's Sinners, which everybody saw except for Iris until a little bit later on after its release on streaming. The Lost Boys, From Dusk Till Dawn. Maybe that was the cult classic. Definitely fans of that movie. Let the Right One In, which was the international influential, very different vampire movie. Pretty good ones, pretty varied, if I may say so.
So check them out at orwhatevermovies.com or wherever you get podcasts. And let us know, 818-835-0473 or whatevermovies@gmail.com. Should we go out with a quote? I didn't write them down.
I think you mentioned the sound that Laddie brings to you from this movie. I always remember Max's laugh. Michael steps out and says, "I didn't invite you this time, Max." And he even has a gravelly vampire voice. And then Max goes, it's like a monster, crazy, demonic laugh that stuck with me for decades.
So good. That's the sound of my childhood. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Peter.
We're the founders of Electrocast Media, bringing you great podcasts like Nightmare Road Stories, Tech Talk Revolution, and Bodacious Minds.
Electrocast networks include Ruby for female empowerment, the Best Business Network, and GPN for geopolitics. We built this company to create community and amplify diverse voices, and we really appreciate your support.
So, keep listening to Electrocast podcasts and hear the culture.
Electrocast.
Welcome to the Candle Power Hour. Come with us backstage behind the scenes of show business spanning over 4 decades and bringing you the experiences that can only be told by the people who were there.
Our guests are from the A-list, the F-list, and everyone in between. Get set for some of the most insane, hilarious, and inspiring stories you will ever hear.
I'm Mercury.
And I'm Diego.
Your hosts for the Candle Power Hour.
Electrocast.